The 25th chapter of the book of Divrei Haymim Chronicles. And we are, of course, in the preparations, the assignments of roles and divisions, the creation of a whole system that's being created by King David, by David HaMelech. As we've said on a number of occasions, this is not anywhere in the original book of Shmuel. David there is a warrior king, a leader of the people, talks about more of his public and private mistakes, discretionary, all different things. And this is a very different David. This is David, spiritual leader, the person who enables his son Shlomo, not just through war, but through delegation and creation of a system to make it easy to build a temple. Okay, so we've said that before. Sorry to say it again. Lemachlokot lashoarim lekarchim Mishel Miyahu ben Korah min bnei Asaf. So now, I'm sorry. I scrolled down and I was doing the 26th chapter. My apologies. I take it back. Okay, chapter 25. You guys got a preview of chapter 26. Vayavdel David v'sarei hatzava la'avoda livnei Asaf v'heiman vidutun hanib im b'chinorot b'nivalim uv'mitzaltayim v'hi misparam anshem melacha la'avodatam. So David and the officers of the army set apart for the service the sons from the family of Asaph, Heman, and Yidutun, who prophesied to the accompaniment of lyres, harps, and cymbals. The list of men who performed this work according to the service was as follows. And so here we see an interesting phrase that's being used. It's talking about prophecy. Now, we don't believe that it's necessarily fully prophecy in the way we think of Shmuel HaNavi having prophecy or Moshe Rabbeinu having prophecy, but it's somehow saying there is some sort of divine inspiration that's coming together with the playing of the music in the Beit HaMikdash, in the temple. And the division, we know we had to divide the Kohanim because of their significance. We know how to divide the Leviim who were assisting the Kohanim in different ways, as guardsmen, as gatekeepers, as making sure that we have the right materials and counting the materials and different things. But the music is also an indispensable part of the temple service, and thus dividing them and appointing them is just as important. And these, of course, are also Leviim. And who are the families? So in verse 2, Livnei Asaf, Zakur, V'Yosef, Unetanya, V'Ashar Elah, B'nei Asaf, Al Yad Asaf, Haniba, Al Yedei HaMelech. So the sons of Asaph are named. And again, they're under the charge of Asaph, who prophesied by order of the king. Again, this phrase, again, Asaph was the teacher, and it's maybe his music was so great that it was seen as being sort of prophetic. Now, we've, of course, seen the family of Asaph many, many times. 10 or so of the Tehillim are from the family of Asaph. I think the 70s and the 80s of Tehillim, we've talked about them in the past. And as his name and his family, the guild that seems to go on for generations, we've talked about it. Now, we have other ones. They're also mentioned. Lidutun, B'nei Yidutun, Gedal, Yutzri, Yishaya, Chashav, Yahu, Umitachahu, Shishal, Yedei Avihem, Yitutun, Bakinor, Haniba, Al Hodot, Vehalel, Ladonai. So here we have the family of Yidutun, the 6 names of the children, and they were accompanied on the harp, and again, prophesied, praising and singing praises to God. Leheman, B'nei Heman, Bukiyahu, Matanyahu, Uziel, Shmuel, Virumut, Hanani, Eliab, Gidalti, Romanti, Ezer, Yash Bekasha, Maloti, Hotir, Machziot, Heman, the sons of Heman, and the list is longer of his sons. And thus we're told in verse 5, Kol Eila Vanim Leheman Chozeh HaMelech B'divrei Elohim La'arim Karen Vayten Elohim Leheman Banim Arba Asar Uvanot Shalosh. Heman, maybe I guess they all had multiple wives. Heman had 17 children, 14 sons and 3 daughters, whether these are his children or some are children and grandchildren. And Heman is called here another word that's used for a Navi, the Chozeh HaMelech, the seer of the king, who gives prophecies that raise the glory of God, the kerem, the light, as it's put here, of God. He raises it. So Haman here is really being told to us in really a tremendous fashion in terms of how he is respected. And this word Keren we have used in different places with the Mashiach, with the Davidic dynasty. So this seems to be an important role that that Haman has. So we're told Kol Eila al Yidei Avihem Bashir Beit Adonai b'Mitzaltayim Nivalim Uv'Tinarot Lavod Beit Elohim al Yidei Hamelech Asaf Vidutun v'Haman. All these were under the charge of their father for the singing in the house of God, with different instruments for the service of the house of God by the order of King Asaph, Yedutun, and Haman, the three families. And all the singers together, there were 288. Mishmeret leumat kakaton kagadol mevin im talmid. And like we've been told in the past with the Kohanim and the Leviim, there is this democratic lot that's being used as to who's going to get which weeks, who's going to have what jobs, what time they're going to be serving in the temple. And it doesn't matter. It's small and great alike, master like apprentice. Everybody has an even share. It is not a weighted lottery system. Okay, so that's here we have them, and now let us continue, and we'll tell you about the Goralot. The first lot fell to Asaph, to Yosef, second to Gedalia, he and his brothers and sons, Ashlishi Zakur, Banav ve'achav Shnei Masar, the third to Zakur, Haravili Yitzri, Banav ve'achav Shnei Masar, the fourth is Yitzri, Achamishi Netanya, who, but ve'achav Shnei Masar, the fifth is Netanya, Shishi Bukiyahu, Banav, the Echav Shnei Masar. So, right, a lot of 12s, 12, 12, 12, 12. Hashvi Yisraela Banav Ve'achav Shnei Masar. Also another 12. Hashmini Yishayo Banav Ve'achav Shnei Masar. Hatshi'i, we're up to the ninth. The lot Matanyahu Banav Ve'achav Shnei Masar. Another 12 from his family. Asiri Shim'i Banav Ve'achav Shnei Masar. The 10th was Shimi with, and the total of 12 again. Ashtei Asar Azrael Banav Ve'achav Shnei Masar. We have the family of Azarel. Hashnei Masar LaChashavya Banav Ve'achav Shnei Masar. 12 Chashavya and his family group of 12. L'Shlosha Asar Shuvuel Banav Ve'achav Shnei Masar. 13th is Shivuel and the 12 that's him. L'Arba Asar Metatyahu Banav Ve'achav Shnei Masar. L'Chamisha Asar, the 15th division, Yermut. Yermot Banav Ve'achav, so 12 from his family. LaShishasar LeChananyahu Banav Ve'achav Shnei Masar, another 12 from the family of Chananya. LaShivasar LeYash Bekasha Banav Ve'achav Shnei Masar, 70 Yash Bekasha. Shmuel LeShmonasar LeChanani Banav Ve'achav Shnei Masar. LaShasar, in verse 26, we're up to the 19th one that the lot has fallen upon. LeMaloti Banav Ve'achav Shnei Masar LeSrim. LeEliata Banav Ve'achav Shnei Masar. So this 20th from Eliata. LeEchad Ve'esrim Lotir Banav Ve'achav Shnei Masar, family of Hotir. LeShnei Masar LeGidalti Banav Ve'achav Shnei Masar. Gidalti, his sons and his brothers, of course, 12 of them in total. LeShlosha Ve'esrim LeMachzayot Banav Ve'achav Shnei Masar. The 23rd with Machazayot, and the last but not the least, LeArba Ve'esrim LeRomamti Azer Banav Ve'achav Shnei Masar. To Romamti Ezer, he and his brothers, a total of 12 of them. So they're divided here into 24 different groups, the same like we had with the Kohanim and the Leviim, and of course 24 times 12, as I just did the math, I was making sure, but 25 times 12 is 288, so that is the 288 names that are mentioned here. And just, a couple of notes about the chapter. Again, we talked about how the centrality of the music in the temple worship, and we see that today with the different Tehillim. We talked yesterday, the Shir Shel Yom of every day. Music and instruments were a essential part of the service in the Beit HaMikdash. And right, so much we have tefillah today, and whether it's blah, 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 or whether it's a lot of beautiful singing, right? The foundations of tefillah are, of course, from the Beit HaMikdash. We pray 3 times a day, coordinated with the sacrifices during the day. We have additional musaf. We had an additional musaf sacrifice on Rosh Hashanah, on the holidays, on Shabbat. So we the significance of this is very, very much. We talked about, of course, King David, sort of the different way he is described in this book from the other books, and the structure in the worshiping in the temple, that we have to have things divided. We have to have a sense of democratization. Everybody's going to get a part, and we know these family. We know these families from the Tehillim. We know them from there. So there's not a big surprise about these families and these and the naming of them. So right, we have a lot from Asaph. We have 3 or 4 from Yidutun, and so these are important families in the history in terms of Jewish liturgy. And as much in this book, we go back to where? We go back to King David. He is the one who sets everything up. And to those listening to this book, reading this book during the early parts of the Second Temple period, what they're hearing is the great history that they are partaking in. It's not new. It's something that we've done and shows how important the temple is, the centrality of it, and those who are helping to build it, those who are helping to build the walls of Yerushalayim, those who are living in those towns, those who have returned, are not just Jews who have managed to return to their home place, but people who are part of this incredible history that started with King David, and thus the true significance of what they're doing is immense and almost invaluable. It cannot possibly be fully calculated.